Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Excellent Flower in the Am I the Jerk subreddit. The post is titled, Am I the Jerk for Disowning My Brother? When I was 12 years old, my mom and stepdad got married. My younger brother and I would go back and forth on whether we liked each other or not. He always gave me the impression that he hated not being the oldest anymore, and that feeling lasts to this day. He always tried to be in charge of us when we were kids. My mom would put me in charge when it was just us at home, but he would never listen. She had to stop leaving me in charge because he would not respect me. Even my older sister couldn't be responsible for us because he refused to listen to her. As we got older, we became a little more civil. I think he started liking the idea of having a big brother when I confronted one of his bullies. We grew closer over time. Then he started really being a snake. I would sometimes bring him around my friends, but when I wasn't around, he would trash talk me to them. He would push to hang out with them without me. Most of them would defend me and stop talking to him. Unfortunately, some wouldn't. I started having people that I considered friends disappear. They wouldn't answer me and would spread rumors about me, turning my back on them. They would show up at my house solely to hang out with my brother, and then my brother would fight with them, only for them to come back to me saying they should have never entertained him in the first place. I began cutting off anyone who ghosted me for my brother. Years later, we started sorting things out again. He and I got close again when we found out that our kids would be born around the same time. Our kids are a month apart. However, we started getting hostile again just a little while before his wedding. I'm all for it being their special day, but he had too much of an entitled attitude. He expected everyone to drop a lot of money and wasn't willing to help pay for it. His father-in-law dropped thousands of dollars on the wedding for my sister-in-law, and my brother demanded that our parents do the same. They chose a really expensive photographer and insisted that my parents pay for it, claiming they couldn't argue that this was the only thing they were obligated to pay for. There was a day when my wife at the time was supposed to meet up with my sister-in-law and another friend to look at bridal party dresses. When my wife got home from work, she was feeling terrible. She messaged the girls and decided to relax for the rest of the day. Nobody faulted her for it since it was for her mental health. A few minutes later, my brother called her, flipping out that she had canceled. He was demanding that she get out there and go with the girls. I took over the situation since she was already feeling bad. It got to a point where he got off the phone and blasted her on Facebook. All of his little sheep jumped to agree with him and badmouth my wife, so I went off on all of them. There were people saying terrible things about my wife who weren't even at the wedding later on anyway. One person in particular, I personally messaged with a screenshot of my wife's conversation with the girls when she apologized for canceling. This person went off saying that she was with my sister-in-law right after the blow-up, claiming she was bawling her eyes out over it. I asked my sister-in-law and she told me that this person was never at her house that day and that she's more my brother's friend anyway. My brother even got mad that I was uncomfortable with my wife walking with a guy with whom I had negative history. My brother was never shy to tell me how his best friend was his only real brother to him. When I told him that I didn't like being blocked by this guy for no reason and that he was supposed to be walking with my wife, I just wanted to talk with him and settle things. My brother blew up saying that I was ruining his wedding again. After I finally got in contact with the guy, he even agreed that my brother was overboard with how he reacted. He said he understood where I was coming from. The wedding was fine, but it doesn't stop there. When my wife and I separated, she would still hang out with my sister-in-law. My brother would tell her terrible things to provoke us into fighting. We finally reached a point where we realized he was provoking us. Now that she has told him off, he tells our family that she's not welcome anymore. He's tried telling my parents that she's not allowed over during family functions when it's my parents' house. My ex and I are very close. We have a healthy co-parenting relationship for our son. She even had to stay here for a few days when her place had work done on it. My mother still treats my ex like her daughter and loves having her around. She comes over to help us get ready for parties or just to hang out. My brother had an idea for a birthday party for my mother. He told her that he and my younger sister would be coming over and bringing cake. He said he would come cut the grass and do some other things for her too. However, he never gave her a time frame for it. She canceled her plans to be here for the party, but he didn't show up until late that night. I was originally supposed to work that day and be off later that night. After the blow up, he told everyone that he planned for it to be later so I could be there. The day came and my ex was dropping my son off when she saw us scrambling to clean. My brother wasn't answering and we had no idea when people would be there. My brother claimed it was supposed to be a surprise. My ex jumped in and started helping us clean. My mom actually invited her to stay for the party. When my brother finally called and found out that my ex was staying, he blew up. He said that my sister-in-law didn't feel comfortable with her there and that she wasn't allowed at family functions. My mom flipped back, saying that my ex was the only one who actually helped prepare for the party and that she was starting to become the only one my mom actually wanted there. My stepdad decided he didn't want anyone coming over at that point. He told his kids not to bother coming over. My ex left to keep the peace, but my brother and sister still came over anyway. When my stepdad saw on the Ring camera that they still showed up, he flipped out on them. They ended up leaving and haven't really spoken to us since. They both decided to keep my nieces from coming to my son's birthday party because they blamed this whole thing on me. My sister and I have kind of resolved our issue, but my brother, on the other hand, hasn't spoken to me since. I'm tired of his attitude. I refuse to have a bad relationship with my son's mother just because he doesn't like her. The fact that he felt the need to take out his anger on our kids was the final straw. I would never let my issues with him come between me and my niece, and my son was devastated that his uncle and cousin weren't at his birthday party. Am I the jerk here? User Infamous End said, "Your brother is likely a narcissist. There's no way to have a healthy relationship with him. I feel badly for your son. Have a conversation with him in age-appropriate language. Best wishes." User Sleepwalker said, "I do not blame you for disowning your brother and cutting him out of your life. I just feel sorry that you will lose contact with your nieces and that your son may never see his cousins again until they are all adults. Or possibly not at all, because your brother will most likely poison their minds against him and you as well." User Tinker Pro said, "So be sure to protect your son from your brother, his wife, and their children. You and your ex should continue to co-parent well. And kudos to your mom for still communicating with your ex. This is the positive adult relationship your son needs to see. Don't bother calling your brother ever. If you see him at your mom's house, say hello or not. Don't engage, and when he tries to goad you, just give him the dead stare." This next post was made in the relationship advice subreddit by a throwaway account. The post is titled, "My GF told me she was with a friend, but that friend was with me picking an engagement ring. How do I confront her about her lie? God, this is a doozy. I swear my life feels like a movie right now. Sorry for the weird formatting. I'm on mobile and this is my first time posting on a sub like this. I 28M am planning on proposing to my girlfriend of 3 years 26F. Now, I suck at picking out jewelry. I'm the type of guy who doesn't see a problem with heart-shaped jewelry, so every time I want to buy something for my girl, I usually consult one of our mutual friends. My girlfriend's best friends are all friends with me as well, and we all get along well, so asking them for help picking out jewelry is something I'm used to. When it came time to pick out a ring, I consulted my girlfriend's best friend, Justine. Justine and I are quite close, and she knows my girlfriend better than anyone, including me. So, when my girlfriend went out to visit her sister and baby nephew, I invited Justine over to the house to help pick out a ring. Justine and I looked through a few catalogs, but decided it was a dead end and that it would be better to go to professionals at a jewelry store. However, I didn't know when my girlfriend would be coming home, so Justine and I thought of a clever text to gauge how much time we had. I asked her when she'd be coming home as I was ordering takeout and wanted to know when to tell them to have the food ready. She responded by saying it would be a few hours because she had met up with Justine to go shopping. Now, obviously, this took me by surprise since Justine was standing inside my house. I showed Justine the text and she looked as confused as I was. It isn't out of the ordinary for my girlfriend to meet up with people out of the blue like that for shopping or lunch. She's a very spontaneous person and loves making plans on the fly. So ordinarily, I would have believed this text in a heartbeat. However, obviously, this had to be a lie. When she came home, she acted completely normal and I played along, but it's been really hard to act like everything's fine. We got takeout, ate together, and cuddled on the couch after. So far, she's caught on a little that something's upsetting me, but I just can't tell her what. Looking at her kills me. I don't know what to do. My girlfriend and I have zero trust issues and we tell each other everything, so this lie is killing me. I want to ask her about it so bad, but if I tell her I knew she was lying, I'd have to explain why, and I really don't want to do that. What do? I know she lied to me, but I don't know how to confront her about it. Should I just forget it? This won't stop gnawing at me. Please help. Edit, I'm sorry for the lack of responses. It's been a hectic day and there's a lot of comments. Thank you to everyone who has commented so far. I appreciate them all. Edit 2, sorry again for the lack of responses, guys. It's really been a crazy day. My parents are moving and I've been helping them. Also, I've never experienced this many comments on a post in my life. I'm going to talk to her tonight once we're both finally settled in after such a busy day, and I will update tomorrow. User Skincare Junkie said, I know you say you can't tell her why you know, but I honestly think you should. You don't want this to bug you forever and then propose to a girl who could potentially be hiding something. Just say you were hanging out with Justine because you needed help with a gift, so you know she wasn't with her. See what she says. Trust and communication are important, and it would suck to know you proposed to a girl who could be doing you wrong, but it's just as bad to sit there and let that lie eat you alive. User Giving You Nuclear said, first of all, let's be realistic about something. Justine's allegiance is more towards the girlfriend than to you. The likelihood that Justine told her what's going on is very high, so prepare for her to have perfect reasons. The longer you wait, the worse it's going to be for you in terms of finding out the truth. I really hope this wasn't a week ago. Sit her down and ask her what she bought that day with Justine. Where did they go, etc. I think most likely she'll say something like, oh, oops, I didn't mean Justine, I was with X, but maybe not, and she'll go deeper into the lie. You keep concerning yourself with, but then it'll ruin the surprise, yet fail to comprehend how likely it is to be a moot point. Even if she is innocent of infidelity, she still lied. At this point, engagement has to be shelved until you get this completely straightened out. You can say you consulted Justine to buy your girlfriend a bathing suit for a birthday, anniversary, or spontaneous gift, and she was over. Who cares what you say? You're not the guilty one. If she changes her story, I'd strongly consider demanding her phone to look through. You can insist you're not that kind of guy, but it's way better to do that once than to willingly enter a marriage with someone who might be cheating before you even propose. You will never forgive yourself if you look past this, get married, have kids, and find out she's been seeing other guys behind your back this entire time. Then a few days later, OP gave us an update. I decided to confront my girlfriend. I thought about using some of the lies people suggested, but they just wouldn't make sense. To say I ran into Justine somewhere, well, I told my girlfriend I had to stay home and do stuff around the house, and that's why I couldn't go with her to see my sister-in-law. To say Justine was helping me pick out jewelry, it doesn't make sense for her to come all the way to our house to help me pick out a piece of jewelry unless it was a serious piece. If I just wanted to get her a piece of jewelry as a gift, I'd ask her friends for suggestions or ask them to send me pictures of jewelry she might like. None of the excuses made sense, so I decided to be honest. I basically said that I knew we'd been thinking about marriage and that she probably knew a proposal was coming soon, so I invited Justine over to help me find her the perfect ring. And that just happened to be the day she said she was going to see her, so what's the deal? She immediately started grinning like an idiot and prodding me about proposing and the ring. But then we got back onto the topic of where she was and she confessed what she was really doing. No, she wasn't cheating, and no, she wasn't picking out a ring for me. So some people are dog people and some people are cat people. Well, me, I'm a snake person. I've grown up with snakes my whole life, but I never felt I could get one because my girlfriend has always been uneasy about living with a snake, which I completely respected. Also, the process of buying and raising a snake is very different from that of buying and raising a dog or cat. So you can imagine my surprise when my girlfriend showed me a picture of her holding the cutest Kenyan sand boa I have ever seen. Needless to say, my girlfriend was going to surprise me with a snake. We're picking her up next week. I definitely did not expect this, and I feel bad for ruining the surprise, but oh well, life is good. Sorry if this isn't the ending you guys wanted or expected, just a snake. Thanks for reading. User Kashinami said, imagine what would have happened if you had blown up at her. This just goes to show that it's better to talk things out with someone rather than jump to conclusions. User Failing said, I'm glad you communicated. I'm so happy your marriage is starting on the right foot, with both of you knowing you can just ask if something is bothering you. That's an extremely healthy way to begin a marriage.